All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Jamal Malik, and in this video, we're going to talk about a topic that's very near and dear to my heart, and that is how to develop a sales process. This is the third video in a series around building effective and efficient sales engines. If you haven't checked out our other videos, I highly suggest checking out when you have some time. This is a very, very broad topic. However, we want to start by just covering off on some basics and cover some ideas and some concepts. The first thing we're going to talk about is the difference between transactional selling and value selling. And there's a third element in here called challenger selling, which I'll touch on kind of just very quickly. Okay, so what is transactional selling? Transactional selling is a customer engagement approach which really focuses on your products. Okay, and the way it works is you surround your product with a number of offerings and you push them out through as many channels as possible. You've probably come across this before, but a transactional sales process effectively is just a rundown of features and functions and competitive points around a specific product. Okay. The second topic we want to cover is value selling. Okay. Now, value selling is more focused on your customer and understanding their needs, their goals, their objectives, and effectively positioning your product so that it's aligned with the outcomes that the customer is looking to drive. Okay. The third approach, which I'll touch on really briefly, is challenger selling, which is basically kind of a mix of both transactional and value selling. Effectively, it has three concepts: teach, tailor, and take control. And what that basically entails is teaching your customer either something that they aren't aware of or something specific to the industry that they reside in, and then essentially tailoring the value prop explicitly for that customer in terms of the outcomes they're trying to achieve. And then lastly, taking control, giving an option to either follow up or proceed or progress the opportunity based on the understanding of the customer, based on your understanding about the customer's needs. The next concept we want to cover and just touch on really quickly is what you're selling. So are you selling either a simple product or a complex solution? This is also important to know and understand as you're building a sales process. Now, how do you define whether something's a simple product or a complex solution? And there's a very, very easy way to distinguish the two. Okay, a simple product is something that you could just pick up and start using with very little either training or changes in your environment. You can kind of just get up and go use it. Okay, not a lot of friction there to using it. A complex solution typically is a combination of products or services and typically requires you to make some changes or adjustments to your environment before you can use that product, whether it's training, changes in your environment related to technology, processes, what have you. Okay, so that's a quick way to kind of gauge whether you're selling something that's simple or complex. Okay. Now, as you figure this out, one of the things we try to really drive home is to really focus on not your sales process, but understanding your customer's buying process first. We did a video not too far back specifically around this topic. If you haven't checked it out, I would highly suggest watching it when you have a chance. But effectively, your sales process is just a mirror about what your customer is in their own kind of buying journey, and that's really all it should really represent. Okay, all right. So now let's talk about building a sales process. And again, one of the questions we want to ask ourselves before we start this, in addition to understanding whether you're selling a complex solution or a simple product, is whether you're trying to scale or penetrate into a market. Okay. Now I'll put a little diagram for us to use, and so you can kind of follow along. But you can use this kind of Venn diagram to pinpoint explicitly what kind of sales process you need based on whether you're selling a simple or complex product and whether you're trying to penetrate or scale into an existing market. Okay, so let's kind of run water through this idea just so we can kind of make it real. Okay, so let's take the first scenario, which is, let's say you're selling a complex product or solution and you want to penetrate into a new market. Okay, for this scenario, we highly recommend using a value selling approach to penetrate into new markets. The reason being is because you have to spend a lot of time up front to build relationships and align what it is that the customer is trying to achieve with what it is that you can provide in terms of value, and also have to spend some time to figure out how they're actually going to integrate that product or solution into their environment. Hence the need to drive a value selling discussion, most likely. Okay, let's use a second scenario now. Okay, let's say you're using let's say you're selling a simple product and you're trying to scale into an existing market. Okay, for that, we recommend using a transactional approach to customer engagement. Why? Because typically in that scenario, if you've already achieved a level of market share, really all you're trying to do now, as the customer has already made or answered the question around why they need this product, you're really trying to differentiate and stand out against the competition. So you're going to focus on the features of your products, how, again, it differs from your competitors, and typically try to stand out with messaging that, again, you're pushing through as many channels as possible. Another couple quick things that I just want to touch on, as you're building a sales process, is that once you figure out what type of engagement model you want to drive, then we want to figure out the stages. And the stages simply help you understand where you are, again, as I mentioned, in the customer's buying process. You don't need a lot of stages, frankly, whether it's value selling or your transactional selling. Really what you want to do is just understand exactly how long or where the customer is in their own buying process, so that you can effectively gauge and engage with them in a capacity to help them kind of move them along that process. One quick thing we'll also want to note out is that each stage should be separated by verifiable outcomes. In future videos, we'll kind of do a quick deep dive not only in this topic, but also properly qualifying opportunities, which we found has been the #1 reason why most opportunities stall. But again, one of the single best investments that you can make as a business owner is defining your sales process specific to what it is you're selling and what you're trying to achieve in the marketplace. And then lastly, getting everybody in the organization to use that sales process. It is a single most important thing to help you drive predictability into your business. And there's 2 reasons why. #1, if everybody in your organization is using the same sales process, it gives you fidelity into very, in a regimented way, moving through the customer's buying process, which ultimately will help increase win rates. But more importantly, as you understand where you are in the customer's buying process, helps you to forecast as well. So again, if we know that we are in the later stages of the customer's buying process and we have a few months left in the quarter, right, you can take actions or steps to help close that deal within that quarter, and gives you a better gauge on your ability to achieve a certain revenue based on the projection date or the forecasted date. Okay, this has been a very, very quick and short video around sales process. We'll again make more detailed videos explicitly around BANT, verifiable outcomes and stages. But for now, we hope you found this useful. Thank you.